How's it going there, emerging historians? I hope you had great success at evaluating sources. We're going to look at our second historical thinking skill of corroboration, where we look at how sources may agree or disagree with each other. Let's start off with Dr. History and a brief overview of corroboration.
Hello, my name is Dr. History, and today I'm going to tell you all about corroboration. You may be asking yourself, what corroboration means exactly? Well, corroboration is a strategy used by historians to try to figure out what really happened. You see, the truth is never as simple as it appears. Do you remember playing the game telephone when you were younger? If you did, you may remember that by the time the message got to the last student, it was completely different from the first student. History is a lot like that. Corroboration is when historians looked at what multiple people said or wrote to try to find out if they agree with each other. When we do this, we compare our evidence to see if it matches up. Some questions that will help you when trying to corroborate are, what do other pieces of evidence say? Am I finding the same information everywhere? Am I finding different versions of the story? If yes, why might that be? And finally, what pieces of evidence are most believable? Here's an example. Let's say we look at two sources from the year 1868. The 14th Amendment was just passed, which gave ex-slaves the right to vote. One source, an abolitionist newspaper, is saying that this is the greatest day in American history. Another source, a letter written by an ex-slave owner in the South, claims that this is the worst mistake in American history. Do these sources corroborate or match? Why might the sources be so far apart? Now that you have the basics of corroboration, you are ready to investigate history to learn what really happened. Good luck.
Alright, pontoon. Alright, you get to use pontoon in class as well. We'll create an account for assignments. So corroboration. Basically, we're looking at what particularly happened in a certain event in history. And so what we want to do is look at multiple pieces of evidence. Think of it kind of like what you guys did with your day in the life of a TKA student, where I had you all write individually, and then you had to bring all your writings together and corroborate and write a narrative of actually what was life like for a for a TKA student. And so here are a few questions we want to think about when we think about corroboration. First, we want to think about what do the pieces of evidence say? Do they agree or disagree with each other? So again, are these documents saying the same thing? If they don't say the same thing, then why might they not say the same thing? And then based on that, what can we come together and say about this particular event? And so we'll get some practice at doing that here in a moment. Third question, what other documents might we need to see, or what other evidence do we might need to have in order to corroborate a particular event? This is really important, and this is key. What's missing? So we have one piece of evidence and we read it. We can't just go on that particular evidence by itself. We need other pieces of historical evidence that's left behind in order to corroborate or say this actually happened. And so looking for other pieces of evidence is real important. And then finally, the believability of a particular document. Now, don't rush to judgment. All documents have bias. We all have some sort of bias, and bias isn't always a negative thing. But we do want to keep bias in mind as to why a person is trying to write this particular document. Why are they saying the things they're saying? Is there any inconsistencies? We have two documents over here that says one thing, and then the third document over here is not saying some of the things that that document might be saying. Is there any inconsistencies? Why might that be so the case? Also, different documents from the same individual. We're going to look at Abraham Lincoln and his early presidency versus as he began to win the Civil War. His speeches, his documents, they said two, as it would seem, contradictory things, but was this actually the case? Can we corroborate what actually took place and how he viewed in particular slavery. We'll take a look at that. So once we ask these questions about corroboration, we start to have certain thought processes. And so when we do these pieces of evidence agree, we might start to say or respond with, this author agrees with this author because it says, and then we might cite particular evidence that agrees with each other. And then vice versa, we might see evidence that where the two authors of particular sources talking about the same event might disagree. We also might consider the date, as we said before, and when was it written. So if the two people are talking about the same topic, how close was one document written to the particular event versus another one? And so that becomes an important issue as we look at comparing or corroborating evidence and deciding whether it's reliable or not. And so as we did with evaluating sources, I have another mission for you, and so let's take a look at that mission. Like historians, you're going to use the skill of corroboration. Your task is to examine each scenario given to you and determine how each account, remember the evidence, corroborates each scenario. Finally, in your determination, you will need to decide which piece of evidence would make a stronger case and explain why. So go ahead and grab your Make Your Case packet and let's look at the case of the vandalized locker room.